Alright, we should be live. Microphone looks good. Video capture. Alright, we're back. Get rid of this because I just did my editing. Break that up into two videos. So, we're back. We're working on the Grim Captain. You're starting with part 6. Yes, this is not technically a legal choice for commander. We are invoking Rule 0, which is if your playgroup allows it, it's fine. I don't think the Grim Captain is so insanely powerful compared to cards that are already legal in the commander format that, it's breaking the game to let him be the commander. It's not like I'm trying to proxy one of the, um, I forget what they're called now. Wizards has this internal program for its employees. I want to say Heroes of the Realm. And every year, it's basically like an Employee of the Year award for employees in certain departments. So they get this super fancy magic card that represents the department they work for. Um, and a lot of them are legendary creatures. And a lot of them are broken or horribly templated because they're just meant to be a thing that a Wizards employee gets. I actually saw one in the wild for the first time on eBay last week. They had the whatever the world tree, which is a plant wizard, and it makes wizards, and then it lets you draw a card, like spend mana to draw a card, and give all of your wizards plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Like this is one of the less degenerate ones that I've seen. Um, and it's still fairly potent. It's a blue green card, so you have all of the usual card drawn ramp to work with for it, and a plethora of blue wizards to choose from. But yeah, um, and I've seen people try and build commander decks around those cards, just as a fun thought experiment, like what does the deck actually look like, type of thing. So that's basically what we're doing with the Grim Captain. So do not build the Grim Captain unless you know, your playgroup is very open to random things. Because I've built like Nightmare Moon from the original My Little Pony charity thing, and she's fun, but if you're already kind of about it, you get like one game with that person before they're just like, yeah, okay, you had your fun. Now can we play an actual commander game? So yeah, check with the people that you play with the most. Make sure they're okay with the idea before you go building the Grim Captain. But anyway, so we are on Invasion now because I pushed to finish the Innistrad, Midnight Hunt, and Crimson Vow sets last time. So I'm not expecting much because it's a multicolor set. So we get into that problem where more than half the cards aren't valid, and some of them that are on this list aren't because they have the other color in their casting cost, or not casting cost, I'm sorry, activated ability or something to push that it's in multicolored set. Or you get ones like Crypt Angel that only does any, like, yes, it's flying in pro white, but most of its power is being able to also rebuy a dead blue or red creature in addition to those stats, because a 5 mana 3/3 flying protection from white is not as good as the vampire that drains your opponent. I think she's like Malakir Blood Witch or something. Which she might make it into the deck because we're going to have a decent number of vampires and a bunch of changelings by the time we're done. So, yeah, don't need the tears. Desperate research. And if desperate research was name a card, look at those. Look at the top. What is it? 6, 7, and put the rest into your graveyard. That would already be in this deck, I think. Because you know me, I love me some Sensei's Divining Top. So would not be much of a stretch past that. Reg. I mean, what we might need actual dredge, but we don't need the mechanic dredge, but we don't need the card dredge. Duskwalker, Exotic Curse, Goham Jin, Hateweaver, Nautic Cloud, Fighting Malice, Marauding Knight. Phyrexian Altar, Phyrexian Delver. Delver is okay. It's not one of the creature types which hurts. Like, if it were a vampire or something, I'd be even more interested in it, but we will have, just our commander is self-milling, so Phyrexian Delver, right? That's where we're at? Yeah. Phyrexian Delver. But yeah, it would be a lot easier to get this in if it were the creature type. The problem with the Queensbay from Ixalan is that while it is the appropriate creature type and has a similar effect, it exiles the creature when it dies because it gets the finality counter. So we have to use it before it goes back to the graveyard, otherwise it's gone forever. The upside, though, is that finality counters only care about the creature going to the graveyard being replaced with exile, so getting exiled by the Grim Captain lets it stay attached to the Grim Captain when it goes, so that way it's a valid creature to put back into play, and then now that it's left play and returned, it won't have the finality counter anymore, so. Do not need Ravenous Rats. Probably don't need Recover. They don't need Soulburn, Spreading Plague. Painted Well, Tech, try Cameo. A lot of things we can't run, and a whole lot of things we don't want to run. There's a color with the most common color among permanents, or color tied for the most common. A creature destroyed this way can't be regenerated. I do have enough graveyard hate, I think, that Twilight's Call might be a valid option. Also, being able to cast it for 8 mana with Flash to ambush people. Possessive, right? Twilight's Call? Yeah. For black for sorcery. Alright. If I'm going to be milling myself, and I'm going to be exiling my opponent's graveyards, I think a mass resurrection spell like Twilight's Call. It will probably get Living Death in here too, but we'll save that for when we get to Tempest. Alright, original Ixalan. Well, time to find a bunch of pirates and maybe a few vampires. Unfortunately, no merfolk or dinosaurs in black this time. I don't think. I don't think there are any black dinosaurs in this set. Now, the hard part is going to be finding good vampires that aren't just all in on the vampire type. Because most of the really good vampires in this set are very vampire focused. Gives another vampire +2/+0. Target opponent loses 1 life for each vampire I control. I don't think I need Bishop of the Bloodstained. We can slightly better than that. That died this turn. Eh. think I need Boneyard Parlay. It's okay, but I'm planning on not having our opponents have graveyards all that often, so it's just going to be from mine. Sleep Plunder, Deadeye Tormentor. That's true, we also need the Pirates. If I attack this turn, target opponent discards a card. Okay, I can kind of see the Deadeye Tracker. It's a cheap pirate. It hates on the graveyard. It lets me explore. Black for a human pirate. 1/1. I think I need Deathless Ancient for the Desperate Castaways. Direfleet Hoarder dies to make a treasure token. Yeah, I can see that. Direfleet is 2 words. One black, human, pirate, 2/1. Okay. Yeah, we probably want the Ravager too. Is pseudo Pox variant. Direfleet. Ravager is 3 black for an Orc Pirate Wizard. 4/4. Plus he's got Menace and Death Touch. Duress, Dusk Legion. Fathom Fleet Captain. Whenever Fathom Fleet Captain attacks, if you control another non-token pirate, you may pay 2 to make a black pirate token with Menace. I don't think I need the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. Do I want the Fathom Fleet Captain? He has to attack. I have to have another pirate in play. It can't be the token. I have to pay mana. And the only benefit is that they have Menace. I don't think this is quite adding up to a good enough card for Commander. There we go. There's the Grim Captain's Call, where I can get back all 4 creature types. I can get 4 cards back to my hand for 1 spell. Also, it's got his name in the title. I will consider that at least. Village. Kite Sail Freebooter. So, really only messes with the one player. I'm going to have to choose exactly the player who's most likely to have the thing that's going to mess with me, or I have to know what they have in their hands from, like, revealed tutors and whatnot. But maybe. One in a black, human, crit, 1/T. I feel like this is a lot like when I first start building a deck, where these are the first pirates I've seen, so I start adding them all to the list because I don't know if I'm getting any good pirates after this. Also, I didn't miss up Empire, right? Because I was too focused on what pirates I wanted. I think we were just in the pirate section because we had all the Dire Fleet and all of the Fathom Fleet creatures, like all the ones that start with those words in their name, so. Unfortunately, we need 4 different creature types, so not quite good enough. Yeah, 6 mana for a 3/3, draw a card, lifelink, or 4/4, surveil a card, lifelink. Probably not. Beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, reveal the top card of your library and put that card in your hand, you lose life equal to that card's mana value. Usually don't bother running Bob in my deck. And I don't know that I want Pirate Bob. Which is just, you know, um, Bob Maher with a pirate hat on his head. Opposed to where else you would put his pirate hat. Uh, Squire being a human instead of randomly also a vampire. We will make some number of treasure. I'm wondering if I want the Ruthless Knave, especially since I can sack my creatures for treasures at that point. The way to get them in the graveyard before I bring them all back with something. I'm still debating if I want the Ruin Raider. Aside from top, don't know how much, deck manipulation. I'll have Vampiric Tutor, maybe, possibly, um, Imperial Seal, but that's it. Where I'm putting the card on top of my deck, I think. I think there is one pirate that lets you tutor a pirate to the top of your deck, but I don't know if that would even make the deck. Because at that point I already have a pirate, so it might be more to tutor a changeling to the top. Yeah, when I know the top card of my deck is going to be like a land or a cheap spell, like if I have Sensei's Divine Top going, or I can just top swap and draw the top again. Not quite as good because the top goes into my hand during my end step, so I won't have a chance to recast it, but getting the extra card draw for the loss of 1 life, probably worth it. Yeah, if it functionally becomes a Phyrexian Arena, then I'm down. But alright, we'll add it to the list and we'll see. We only have a few sets worth of pirates to choose from anyway. So this is 2 and a black for an Orc Pirate. 3/2. I probably want to consider the Ruthless Knave. At this point, I feel like I'm adding, again, all the pirates just because we haven't had any pirates yet, and there are only a few sets that are, a strong pirate sub-theme, so we're not likely to get a bunch of pirates from the other sets unless they're changelings or something. So the upside to the Sanctum Seeker is that I don't need a ton of vampires for it to drain my opponent. The downside is that if we put into play like tapped and attacking off the Grim Captain or something, we won't gain the life that turn. And then if it dies, we won't gain the life ever. Because now we've gone through all this trouble to have it die, come back, put it back into play, and die again. Granted, we might get it back again eventually, but that's true. I'm reading it as it attacks, I gain life equal to the number of vampires I control, but it's actually when a vampire I control attacks. So if I had this in play, it still doesn't work with the Grim Captain because he's putting into play tapped and attacking, so we're past that trigger. But if I attack with any of my other vampires, I worry about all the ones that are payoffs for having the specific creature type, because we're going to be so scattered with that, with our 4 creature types. Or so the fact that this thing is only going to gain like between 1 and 3 life most likely per combat, since the rest of my creatures will be other creature types more often than not. Yeah, Bloodletter's super weak. The other thing is that vampires are easily the most common creature type of the 4 for mono black, so we will have tons of chances to get vampires and very few chances to get like pirates and whatnot. Opponent loses 1 life. Yeah, nowhere near good enough. Dies, target opponent creates 2 treasures. No. Alright. That was Ixalan. After Ixalan, get Journey into Nyx, which will have none of the creature types. Right? All the small black creatures on Theros are zombies or harpies. So we just need stuff that actually works with the deck instead. So, creature I control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. We're not actually built primarily to sacrifice our stuff. We are built primarily to get it back when it dies. I don't know that I would want the Dictate. Gives Minotaur's Death Touch. Turn the 3 target creature cards from my graveyard to my hand, but that's a ton of mana for that effect. No. Creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+1, so I could just run that to buff my team effectively. I'm not going to have a whole lot of colorless creatures, but I don't know that that's even good enough. How wide am I actually going with this deck? And I think the answer is I can go very wide at times, but I'm primarily focused on the 1 large Doomsday creature. And then sometimes I'll bring all of my other stuff back and they'll all attack the opponents, but for the most part, it's the Grim Captain is trying to solo people. Master of the Feast, Nightmarish End. Been chosen. Player mills 3 cards. No, not quite. Turned, Rotted Hulk. Beaches. Maya, Tormented Thoughts, and Worse Fears. Nope. Didn't think so. Alright. Journey. Go to Judgment, which is one of the worst sets for black because of the way they did the Torment and Judgment things. Turn all black creatures and all red creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each player returns all black creatures and all red creatures. So unfortunately, he's a zombie. And he buffs minions, which means he would buff my changelings. I don't know that that's good enough, like exiling him and getting everything back. I can do it at instant speed, which is very helpful actually. I don't know how much room we're going to have for creatures that aren't one of the 4 creature types. I feel like it's going to be very, very little. and I already have several other cards that can do this. Like, if we run Living Death, if we run Twilight's Call, because I still have to exile my opponent's graveyards. The only upside is that I only have to exile the graveyards of players with black and red creatures. I don't have to worry about, like, the big green Stompy deck and all of its dead creatures getting exiled. But in order to do this right away, this is 7 mana to ambush somebody with it. Otherwise, he's got to be in play in a known quantity, and then he just kind of dies. Like I don't feel like I can just run Balthor out and have him live until I'm ready to do the thing. Yeah, I don't think so. Exile, then each player loses 1 life for each card in their graveyard. Draw a card. Guilt Feeder, Krosan Verge. Exchange my graveyard and my library, then shuffle. Don't quite think so. Like, I want to use my graveyard as a resource, and I'd love to put a ton of cards in there. That seems like a few too many. Even if I do have a decently stocked graveyard. Like, the graveyard has to be cards I would rather draw, and it has to be missing the cards I want there for, like, the Grim Captain's effect, so... Yeah, I don't think so. I did forget about Balthor, though. That did give me a minute to really have to think about if I wanted him in the deck or not. I was not expecting there to be any cards, really. Like I said, they did a thing where they had Torment first, which had a bunch of really good black cards and weaker white and green for the most part, and then Judgment, they did stronger white and green cards and weaker black. So, I can't run Kells. Each opponent loses 2 life, and I gain 2 life. A 3 mana 2/1 flyer. I have to be able to do better than that. I don't think I need the Witch of the Moors. Lightning Excavator, no. Is that really all of the mono black cards? It might be. Yep. Yeah, I don't think I need the Feeder, and I don't think I want the Witch of the Moors. The Witch of the Moors is a little bit tempting, because I do gain life off of a lot of the vampires randomly, but I think I'd rather have the Coven. Strixhaven commander. Alright, so that was Jumpstart 1. Start 2. Don't need a Rat Warlock. Cares about rats. Go to the Demon. Creeping Bloodsucker. Beginning of combat. Or, I'm sorry, beginning of your upkeep. I don't know where I got combat from. Creeping Bloodsucker deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. That's a little bit better. It's like it has to live to my upkeep, but it keeps triggering and I gain that much life, which this is a thing that they've slightly moved back to, but not like fully embraced yet. So gaining life based on the amount of damage you deal when you deal a small amount of damage to opponents used to be you would gain that much life, so that way, you know, you just have the creature out, you're playing heads up, your opponent takes damage, you gain that much life. Cool. Then Commander became a super popular format, and cards where it's like, I deal 1 damage to each opponent and gain that much life is like, I deal 1 damage to each opponent and gain 4 life per turn cycle in a like 5-player game, or 3 life per turn cycle in a 4-player game. And it's just like, that is gaining way more life than it was originally designed for, so they started moving away to each opponent loses that much life, and you gain the same number it says life. So, regardless of how many opponents like, each opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. It's never like each opponent loses 2 life and you gain that much life. And now we've gotten a couple of cards, like the one in Jumpstart here, where it's back to the um, original wording, and it's just that it's the smaller effect at that point. Like, it's usually 1 life at that point, because gaining 2 life per opponent starts to get out of hand after a while if it's repeatable. Alright, anyway. So do I actually want Creeping Bloodsucker? Eh. I think it's fine. I can put it on the list and then decide later. Creeping Bloodsucker. Just 1 in a black. Or just a vampire. 1, 2. Okay, don't need the Disciple of Perdition. Didn't need Deadly Plot either, because we don't really have the zombies. Oh, there's a Vampire Angel. Oh, right, he's got the white-black hybrid activated ability. Never mind. The Ossuary Rats are enters the battlefield, deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and opponent controls where X is the number of creature cards in my graveyard. Nope. Each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, put 2/1/1 counters on it. A 4/2 zombie. Come 2/2/2 zombies from the graveyard. Termination Facilitator. Infernal Idol. Tap, add black. 3 tap, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards, and lose 2 life. Eh. Not really the mana rock I'm looking for. Your Atlas. Card on top of your library and the rest on the bottom in a random order, and it taps that colorless. Nah, I don't think so. We're into the reprints with fancy artworks. Alright. Let's jumpstart both of them. How come the Jurassic Park cards are on here, but the Lost Caverns of Ixalan I haven't seen, unless they just added it? Because I did check for it before I was doing my thumbnails, and I need the cards. Mantower, Dino DNA, exile target creature from a graveyard, activate only as a sorcery. 6, create a token that's a copy of target creature card, exile with Dino DNA, except it's a 6/6 dinosaur creature with trample, only as a sorcery. I think so. Although it does make dinosaur tokens. It's very expensive to make dinosaur tokens, but at the same time it makes 6/6 dinosaur tokens. I'm pretty sure Welcome is a green card. Also, this taps for green mana anyway, so. Enters the battlefield or attacks, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Creatures your opponents control with -1/-1 counters on them can't block. I don't know how many other ways I have to get -1/-1 counters on creatures. There might be a few ways to do that. The downside is that the 1 vampire removes all counters, not just positive ones. I don't get to really control that. So I want to go to the bottom, I think, for the other. Add this in, so this is Spitting Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus. Okay. This is 2 and a black for a dinosaur. 3-2. Similar to the pirate problem, this is one of the few mono black dinosaurs, so I have to consider it, even if it's not the best card outside of being a mono black dinosaur. Alright, so that's the Jurassic subset. Onward to Kaladesh. Fortunately, this is before Saheeli met Huatli, so not in love with her, and she's not making robot dinosaurs for her yet. We're unlikely to find anything. I think there might be 1 or 2 pirates on Kaladesh, but I think they're Skyship Plunderer and Karizev. I don't think any of them are in black. Cast a spell, gain life, then deal a bunch of damage. Aetherworks Marvel, no. That, don't. Caravan. Auction module, no. Dark schemes. Rogue. Young. Nope. And a Vault Tower. Eliminate the competition. No. Every time I see eliminate the competition, I keep thinking, oh, this was like a really decent card in the format. What does it do again? And it's like, yeah, it's not really good for like outside of limited. It was very good in limited though. You had a lot of things that made random 1/1 tokens, or could put counters on themselves. That was one of the mechanics of this set. So it was very easy to get like 3 or 4 creatures into play, and then just sacrifice all of your little creatures and kill all of their stuff for 5 mana. Familiar, don't need any of the cars. Vampire Bat also cares about artifacts, so not really anything I need. I'm pretty sure Yahenni is the only... Oh no, there's one other vampire in there. There's the 2/3. Forget what its name is now. We probably should have seen it then. I think it's an Aetherborn. Like, it has Aetherborn in the name. Might have passed over it in the previous thing. Because it's a Vampire Nighthawk for 1 less mana that doesn't have flying, so it's probably worth considering at least. But yeah, Gonti is not a vampire rogue, so Live Fast, Living Legacy, Marionette Master. Draw a card and lose a life, sack it, draw a card and lose a life. Rogue, knock Ear Hulk. I think I need the Panharmonicon. Trap Heat. Sky Sovereign. Copter. Trafficker. Tidy Conclusion. No. Puzzle Knot. And what's the last card? Because I think there's only one after Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. Yeah, it's Workshop Assistant. Okay. So was there an Aetherborn at the top of this list? Good. 2/3 Death Touch? No, so it was from the other one. Because I don't remember adding it to the list. Like, if we go to Kaladesh... Kaladesh. Yeah, Aether Revolt doesn't have it. Real quick. Let me just go back to Aether Revolt. Because I think I passed over it because I forgot it was a vampire. There it is. There's Gifted Aetherborn. And it is an Aetherborn vampire, so we'll probably consider that at least. Aetherborn vampire. Okay. Yeah, I think I forgot that that one was also a vampire at the time. Alright, so Kaladesh. Call time. Not running the Snowlands, I don't think, so no to Blood on the Snow. Search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. Reveal those cards. An opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card in your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle. I don't think so. Reaper. No. Colossal Plow. Cosmos Elixir, no. Berserker. Demonic Gifts. Opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Nope. Cleric. Cleric. Spirit Knight. Demonic Cleric. Human Cleric. Same basic thing. Elf Berserker. Egon, God of Death. Probably don't want Egon, but I might want his throne, like his other side. Find it, because I'm pretty sure that thing lets me mill myself for value. Don't need the Elder Fangs. Eradicator Valkyrie, Faceless Haven. If I did run the Snowlands, I do get Faceless Haven, but that seems like a bit much to spend 3 mana to animate that, and then 4 mana to flip the Grim Captain just to exile my Faceless Haven, and then eventually put it back into play. Because it's not like it's a changeling when it's not active. Don't need Pickaxe. Draugr, no. Haunting Voyage. Choose a creature type. Yep. Yeah, I think I need to be doing better than 1 creature type. Like, it might be worse to have it foretold. Like, now I'm spending more mana to still only get 2 creatures back. I don't need the Jarl. Arfel Kennelmaster. All these non-4 sub-creature types that would mill me a whole bunch. Alright, we probably need to consider Maskwood Nexus, though. Because that makes all of my creatures and all of my creature cards in the graveyard all creature types. Yeah, Maskwood Nexus is just way too much what I need. Alright. To call time. Maskwood Nexus. A 4-drop artifact? Yeah, the fact that it being in play just turns all of my dead creatures into all the creature types is enough, I think, to make this work, but the fact that we'll also spend 3 mana and tap to make a changeling pushes it over the top. Can't run the priest. Yeah, that is the downside, is that all of the changelings in this set are blue and green, so I can't even get any of them past the 1 artifact, I think. I don't think there are any other artifacts that make changelings in this set. Oh, there's the one that I choose the creature type and it gets counters. Past Elray, it's like Bloodline something, and I glossed over it because I forgot it was a changeling. Yeah, Bloodline Pretender. Chosen type enters the battlefield under my control, put a 1/1 counter on it. Yeah, it's not really going to be good enough, though. At least I hope it's not good enough. I'd hate to have to come back and grab that thing because I'm that desperate for Merfolk and dinosaurs. A little too far. We're somewhere around Poison the Cup, I think. Board of Carfell, yeah. Sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has mana value equal to 1 plus that creature's mana value, and put it onto the battlefield. It's hard enough to find enough creatures in some of the creature types, let alone try and chain them together. Like, that might still be okay if I have enough changelings in the deck, but especially since putting creatures in the graveyard is fine for this deck. So sacrificing the other ones isn't really going to hurt me at all. Battlefield, choose one. Yeah, I don't think so. Skull Raid. Tegrid. We do make our opponents sacrifice permanents when we attack. So we can put Tegrid in the deck if we want to. I don't think Tegrid is amazing in this build, but... And we might cut her just because she's not one of the creature types, but... Have an official title? Yeah, God of Fright. Three black for a god. 4/5, and it's 3 and a black for an artifact. Grids. Yeah, don't need Hornmantle Striker. There's the Throne of Death. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Exile a creature card from your graveyard to draw a card. Yeah, it's not really good enough, is it? I should be able to do better for self-mill, and the creatures are the thing I least want to exile for other value. I want to be able to exile the other cards to get value. I don't need Way Down. And don't need those. Okay. Back to here. Kaldheim. Alright, we'll check the Kaldheim commander, but there should only be the one card that doesn't specifically care about elves, and it still cares about having all of my creatures be the same type. So, I very seriously doubt that's getting in here. I don't think there's anything else from the set. Yeah, choose a creature type. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of creatures they control of the chosen type. Cares about elves, cares about elves. Okay. Alright, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I don't think there are any vampires on Kamigawa, and I don't think any of them consider themselves pirates, so you can't fight pirates with ninjas in, like, the block. Even in the modern era Kamigawa with its neon aesthetic. Yeah, I will consider Assassin's Ink, though, as one of my creature slash planeswalker kill spells. Like, the Grim Captain is an artifact almost all the time, so it's already Hero's Downfall 99% of the time, and sometimes it'll be Hero's Downfall for 2 mana, so I think it's worth considering at least. I don't really care for a human ninja. Blade of the Oni. Not really. Boot suit, chain flail. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. Want the Eater. Death's Whale. Energy Blade. Shintai, Gravelighter. Can't run. Hidetsugu. Ninja. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, then repeat the process for enchantment and Planeswalker. Nah, I don't think so. Opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Put target non-dragon creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under my control and lose. Nah, I don't think so. Hero, no. March of Wretched Sorrow. Still probably not. Bowtie, Ambusher. May sacrifice another artifact or creature. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on it. Gains Menace. I think we need Nashi. A good boy, but this isn't really a deck for him. Jade Blesser, Prowler, Road Captain. Creature or vehicle, put 2 counters on that permanent if you control an artifact and an enchantment. Nope. No, don't need the Bank Buster. Gain life equal to the permanent's mana value, draw 2 cards. Not quite good enough, I don't think. Have a tiny bit of life gain payoff. Mill 3 cards and return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs. Yeah, I think we want Takenuma. Like, it lets us self-mill, taking up a land slot. Takenuma. Its full title. Abandoned Mire. Okay. Can't run Tatsunare. Long Reach of Night. Still no to tribute. If Twisted Embrace were slightly better in this deck, because being able to put it on the Grim Captain, like the Throne of the Grim Captain to kill a creature is neat, or Planeswalker, but it's more mana at sorcery speed than any of my other effects that would do that, and the Grim Captain exiles itself and comes back, so it would lose the Embrace anyway. So it's kind of like, it's neat that it works, but it doesn't actually do anything useful. Okay. Dynasty Commander. And we're right at the hour mark, so yeah, I think we'll call it here. We'll just double check, make sure there's nothing we want from Commander subset. This battlefield with an indestructible counter. If I cast it from my hand, move the counter, put it onto the battlefield under your control all creatures in all graveyards that were put there from anywhere this turn. I think so. And the Technomancer. You do create a number of treasure tokens equal to that creature's power. Sacrifice X artifacts. Return target creature card with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. X can't be 0. Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, so that'll do it for right now. So we've stopped at Neon Dynasty. So we're making progress. We finally got to Ixalan and therefore a bunch of pirates. We're getting there, but we'll work on it some more. I don't know if I'll work on it more today, probably tomorrow though, and might do some more drafting later, but that'll do it for me for right now. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.